guys, this is the second part, and like and subscribe and enjoy.
Maybe about 30 to 40 minutes after I was thrown into a van by James, probably not raining, we arrived at an abandoned building. After James got out in the door, I tried to make my escape, but he chased me. Then he said, "Please, don't make this hard. I don't want to be tased again." So I just did as he said. He walked inside of the building and then into a room and told me to sit down. He pulled out his phone and called someone saying he's here. After James hung up, it got pretty quiet. I asked him what the phone call was about, and he said that he had to call his boss. Then I asked him what this place was and what his boss was going to do to me, and he said that he didn't know. I was really confused and why he did this to me because I trusted him. So I asked why he kidnapped me. All he said was this: "If you don't shut up, I'm gonna tase you again or worse." I decided to keep my mouth shut. I guess I did a good idea because his boss walked in and I couldn't believe who it is. "Hey Greg, it was Albert Sandy. How and why?" I must be dreaming, so I told James to tase me again, and he did. This wasn't a dream. I asked Albert where I was, and he said it was his headquarters. He asked if I wanted a tour of this place. This isn't a Willy Wonka chocolate factory, but what else was I supposed to say? So he led me through the building. One of the rooms on the tour of that Albert showed me was where he would ship yogurt and drugs, but mostly yogurt. But the strange part is that Fregley was there. Even Manny was there. My organ harvesting room. Help. All of this seemed cool and all, but I wanted to know how this all started. I asked him, and so he got to the point. He made this place his headquarters back when he was in middle school and started when he got into all of this dark web stuff. Then he brought James all as his slave to help him with all his dirty work. But after a few years, his service of selling yogurts and organs took off, and he wanted new people to work for him. He didn't want to use his money on buying people, so he decided to use someone from school. For some reason, he thought I would be the perfect person who would like doing this stuff. So he brought it up to me because he knew that I would be curious. So finally, after a while of seeing what I do, he asked me if I wanted to work for him, and I gave him my answer. "I'm sorry, but no." He looked kind of confused for a second, and then he laughed. He said that wasn't a good choice. He then snapped his finger and James started to walk towards me. This obviously didn't look so good, so I made a run for it. I guess it was good that I got that tour because now I knew how to get around that place. For looking back, he didn't look like he was in a hurry, so I guess that could buy me some time. After running through some few corridors, I ran into a room and hid behind a table. But apparently, he didn't take him that long to find me. "I can see you, Greg." And he didn't have a little taser this time. He had a gun. I wasn't planning on dying this soon, so I told him that I had an idea where nothing bad could happen. I was lucky because he actually put his gun down off my face and told me to make it quick. So I told him that if we both escape, then you don't have to hear Albert Sandy ever again. And he liked that idea. But I asked him, why didn't he escape in the first place? James said that he couldn't escape because Albert installed a shock collar on his ankle, so whenever James doesn't do his bidding, he'll shock him. So I grabbed a hammer that was on the table and started to bash it, and it eventually came off. He was ticked off though because I was going to snap off his ankles. After all of that, we started to get the heck out of here. James said that there was an exit a few turns from running, but as we were doing that, we accidentally ran into Albert. He said, "Where do you think you're going?" And if you believe it or not, James said, "Get out of my way, you lump of pork," and beat the tar out of him. Then, after pushing through the exit of the building, we hopped into James' van and we started to drive out of there. I asked him what we're going to do about Albert, and he said that he had control of all of this explosive yogurt below the building, and he pressed a button on a remote-looking thingy. So guys, if you enjoyed part 2 of the Wimpy Dark Web, make sure to like and subscribe, and by 1K views, I will make part 3.